I'm Ryan Lagarde.
And I'm Craig Tovey.
And welcome to Storytime with Ryan Lagarde.
And Craig Tovey.
Today's book is Curious George and the Hot Air Balloon
by Margaret and H.A. Rey.
Let's get started.
Yeah.
Curious George and the Hot Air Balloon
by Margaret and H.A. Rey. This is George. George was a good little monkey and always very curious. He was on a trip with his friend, the man with the yellow hat. It was the end of their vacation and they wanted to make just 2 more stops. They were in South Dakota, so, of course, they went to see Mount Rushmore.
These are the faces of 4 great presidents,
A tour guide said.
George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Theodore Roosevelt, and Abraham Lincoln.
Oh, Ryan, it's pronounced Lincoln.
That's what I said. Lincoln.
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 I'm not going to do this today. I know you're just trying to get my goat.
You have a goat?
Look, said a girl.
There's something crawling on George Washington's head.
The tour guide explained that some workers were making repairs to the faces. George watched the workers. Then he saw a helicopter fly by. It was taking tourists for a close-up look. George thought that would be fun.
Maybe we can take a ride later,
the man said.
But now, we need to leave, or we'll be late for the hot air balloon race.
So they got back into their little blue car, and before long they came to a whole field full of hot air balloons. George was delighted to see such big balloons. He liked their spots and stripes and stars, but his favorite had a picture of a bunny on it.
Craig?
Yeah?
Where do hot air balloons go?
It's a mystery, I know. One balloon was not yet up in the air. Its owner was hurrying to fill it as a newspaper reporter took pictures. The man with the yellow hat watched the balloon on the ground, but George watched the balloons in the sky. He was curious.
Oh.
Why didn't they fly away? Then he saw the ropes. A rope is a good thing to keep a balloon from flying away, thought George. A rope is a good thing to climb. Sometimes, when a monkey sees something to climb, he can't help himself. He has to climb it. George thought he would climb just one rope, then quickly climb down. But when George climbed up, there was no way to climb back down. The rope had come undone, and there was only one place to go.
Left.
No.
Right.
No.
South.
Think about it.
East. Circle.
You're just trying to get my goat.
Where is the goat?
It's not a real goat.
Where are they?
Up, up, up went the balloon, and George went with it.
Oh. They wanted the simple answer.
There's only one answer.
Still pretty high on circle.
George flew higher and higher, and the people below grew smaller and smaller. The man with the yellow hat was tiny. The newspaper reporter was too. And the owner of the balloon wasn't very big. But he was big enough for George to see that he was angry. George felt bad. He didn't mean to take the balloon. He didn't even know how to fly it. As the wind whisked him away, he wished he had someone to help him. But he was all alone. If only there was somebody to help George.
Maybe your goat could help him.
I don't have a goat, Ryan.
You said you had a goat, and I know he's here. Goat.
George climbed into the basket. When he looked around, he found he wasn't alone after all. The race was on, and he was in the lead. Together, the balloons flew across the field and over the forest. Now George was having fun. But before he knew it, George was alone again, and all the fun was gone. Flying by himself high in the sky, George was frightened. How would he ever get down, he wondered. Oh, if only he hadn't climbed that rope. Well, you know what they say about curiosity, George.
It gets you in a hot air balloon, and now you're flying frightened.
No, that's not what they say. It's the curiosity killed the cat.
What?
Suddenly, the wind changed, and George saw something familiar. He was excited. Someone was sure to help him now. In fact, there was someone right in front of him. Who could it be?
Your goat.
No.
The yellow bird.
No.
A circle.
No.
Abraham Lincoln.
It was one of the workers.
Oh, workers.
It was so obvious.
Was it?
And he was stranded on George Washington's nose. George was so happy to see the worker, he didn't notice how happy the worker was to see him. Slowly, the red balloon floated closer. Would it come close enough? It did! The worker grabbed onto the rope and climbed up. Soon, he was in the basket with George. Hurrah! George was rescued. Hurrah! The worker was rescued too.
Hurrah! I found the goat.
Ryan, that's my remote control.
Close one.
They sailed up over George Washington's head and landed safely in a tree. Soon a whole crowd came to rescue them both. The man with the yellow hat was happy to see George. The reporter was glad to have such an exciting story to report, and the owner of the balloon wasn't angry anymore. Everyone had seen the rescue. George was a hero! After the workers thanked him, George got a special treat. He got to ride in the helicopter. Helicopter ride.
Bonus.
The helicopter flew George and the man with the yellow hat once more past the presidents, then back to the little blue car. As they drove away, the man said,
"That was some vacation, George."
George agreed. It was an exciting vacation, but they were both very glad to go home. Ryan, I don't know if this is a great lesson for kids because George misbehaves and then he always works out for him.
Well, that's because he cares, Craig. He's caring George.
Curious George. That's the name of the book.
Don't you know the song? Caring George, the caring little monkey. Caring George. He cares.
You just made that up, didn't you?
I did. Curious George and the Hot Air Balloon.
By Margaret at H.A. Ray.
Well, thanks for watching Storytime with Ryan Lagarde.
And Craig Tovey.
We'll see you next time. Craig, did I get your goat?
Sure.
I'm gonna name him Abraham Lincoln.